Has one of the killer outbreaks.
One night, Enrico complains of fever and chills, so Katerina gives her husband some aspirin to bring his fever down. But instead, it gets worse. The next day, he collapses. In a panic, she calls 911.
They put in the stretcher, they put the oxygen on, and he went run to the hospital.
Doctors immediately begin running a battery of tests on Enrico, and their initial diagnosis is not a good one.
He got some infection inside, but we don't know, he says. We think he has pneumonia. They give us some antibiotics.
That is not right.
We can't, because I'm not a
Doctors attempt to rehydrate Enrico and stabilize his condition. But their around-the-clock efforts are futile, and his condition worsens.
On the third day, the doctor came to me and said, I have to tell you, Miss Gabriele, I think this is not pneumonia anymore. This is something different that we don't know.
Tests and cultures are taken, but those results will be days away. The avid gardener may not have that much time left.
He can do anything. He can raise his hand, he can raise his leg, he can do nothing. When you call him, he just opens the eyes and he closes it again.
4 days later, another elderly patient arrives at the same hospital with the same fever and paralysis.
He just opens the eyes and he closes it again.
4 days later, another elderly patient arrives at the same hospital with the same fever and paralysis. As local New York doctors rush to diagnose the mystery illness, 3 more patients are admitted with frighteningly similar symptoms. What doctors do not yet know is that Enrico Gabrielli is patient 0 for a deadly virus never before seen in the Western Hemisphere.
By Sunday morning, we were up to 8 cases of what was this very severe encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain tissue, 7 of which had muscle weakness. They were all otherwise healthy.
A cluster of cases usually signals the beginning of an epidemic. As local New York doctors rush to diagnose the mystery illness, 3 more patients are admitted with frighteningly similar symptoms. What doctors do not yet know is that Enrico Gabrielli is patient 0 for a deadly virus never before seen in the Western Hemisphere.
By Sunday morning, we were up to 8 cases of what was this very severe encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain tissue, 7 of which had muscle weakness. They were all otherwise healthy.
A cluster of cases usually signals the beginning of an epidemic. Over 150 possible mosquito-borne viruses that are deadly to humans. CDC investigators begin by focusing on diseases that are native to the United States. Within days, they come up with a match.
Our laboratory results were consistent with St. Louis encephalitis, and we had no idea what it was going to do to
I don't think it's
the
it.
population of the United States.
Because I was seeing an unusual encephalitis in crows. St. Louis encephalitis, it doesn't cause disease in birds. The veterinarian has something on her radar that the CDC scientists do not. People aren't the only ones dying in New York. The zoo had already lost pheasants, flamingos, owls, and eagles. It was disturbing to have this many birds die this quickly. I was very concerned that whatever this was, it was something that would have a high rate of infectivity. Whatever is killing the birds at the zoo has also been killing crows across the state. Crows started dying in early June. There were something like 17,000 dead birds in New York State. I mean, this was a major event, but it was largely ignored. Dr. McNamara begins performing necropsies on the zoo's dead birds, as well as some deceased. Because I was seeing an unusual encephalitis in crows. St. Louis encephalitis, it doesn't cause disease in birds. The veterinarian has something on her radar that the CDC scientists do not. People aren't the only ones dying in New York. The zoo had already lost pheasants, flamingos, owls, and eagles. It was disturbing to have this many birds die this quickly. I was very concerned that whatever this was, it was something that would have a high rate of infectivity. Whatever is killing the birds at the zoo has also been killing crows across the state. Crows started dying in early June. There were something like 17,000 dead birds in New York State. I mean, this was a major event, but it was largely ignored. The technicians at McNamara's lab accidentally sticks himself with a needle.
Has one of the killer outbreaks.
He challenges the CDC's diagnosis. When we had the human exposure, all that off. We needed to pinpoint a diagnosis. The next phone call I made was to the Center for Disease Control at Fort Collins. And I'm speaking in rapid fire because I was manic. I said, I'm telling you that this is something new, and I believe it is the same thing that is killing people in New York City. And it is not St. Louis encephalitis.
The CDC labs are the only ones testing the tissues of those who had already died in this outbreak.
I begged them to take my samples and compare them with the humans.
She pushed really hard to get the specimens tested. Well, we're a human health agency, and we didn't necessarily test specimens from zoo birds. We tried to figure out, well, who actually tests zoo birds? And we couldn't identify a federal agency that did it.
Dr. McNamara refuses to give up.
I woke up in the middle of the night and a giant light bulb went off in my head, and I said, oh boy, I know who I need to call. I'll call the Army. And that's exactly what I did.
The U.S. Army Research Institute of Infectious Diseases agrees to analyze Dr. McNamara's samples.
Virus.
There's millions of people, and they are all susceptible.
To make matters worse, the CDC's initial identification of the disease was wrong. New York City's human and avian populations are dying from something never before seen on American shores: West Nile virus.
Cell phones were ringing, buzzers are going off, and the birds were indeed the key to the mystery.
First isolated in Uganda in 1937, West Nile outbreaks had occurred in Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. But West Nile had yet to make a visit to the Western Hemisphere. Until now, when its first victim, Enrico Gabrielli, remains a lucky man.
Fatto quello che ha fatto.
I am surprised because such a small mosquito killing people, having people dying, it's something amazing. How is it possible that a mosquito is able to kill a person? I was never going to believe that, but unfortunately, it has happened.
He was the first person and he was survived. When we went to the doctors, oh, this is the survivor. Now the survivor's coming. The survivor's coming.
Sushi Cat 3. Sushi Cat 2 didn't do too well, and I just want to put out good content for you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.